What is Manchester United's summer transfer budget? How much does Ten Hag have to spend? And will FFP affect it? That's what I'm going to discuss in this video. I've been planning on doing this for a long, long time. And The Athletic and Mark Critchley from The Athletic have released a fantastic bit of explainer into the FFP situation, because you know for what I've been talking about doing this video for a while. But it's been so complicated. And this hopefully will give you a little bit of an insight into the issues that face the club this summer. But almost more importantly, what we've got coming ahead and why that in itself is having an impact on what could happen this summer. It's going to be a little bit of a complicated video, so try and listen as much as you can. I'm going to try and sort of write some notes down as we're going through it. It is complicated, but it is important. So please do drop a like on this video. I do enjoy doing these ones. I think they try and help us all understand sometimes quite complicated topics. But of course, Mason Mount is the first signing we've made this summer, and that was what? £55 million, well, 60 if you include the add-ons. How much more do we have to spend? We've got Anana coming in. What happens next? I'm going to run through this article, pull out all the key points, and, well, let's get straight into it, eh? Because it is complicated. Look, FFP, this is from Mark Critchley, as I said, from The Athletic. FFP has been mentioned practically every day among Old Trafford's key decision makers. Calls it the financial sausage machine. I like the idea of that. I don't know why. I just like sausages. Anyway, let's get back. let's get back to talking here about FFP. As the regulations and calculations involved are complex, and this is something I've been saying the entire time, picking out the club's FFP position from their public accounts is not an exact science. And you'll notice by the end of this video, I won't just give you a budget saying this is how much Manchester United can spend. But there is a massive risk that Manchester United will breach FFP. And that is the issue. And it comes down to this, the profit and sustainability rules of the Premier League. As you can see there, the rules allow for clubs to make a £15 million loss over a 3-year monitoring period, with losses of up to £105 million permitted, so long as that £90 million difference is covered by secure funding from a club's ownership, which is, of course, not going to help Manchester United. The Glazers have not ever invested a single penny into our football club. You can see down there, owner funding in the last 10 years, up until 2021, Manchester United, the opposite. 154 million had left the club, going directly into the Glazers' pockets to pay their dividends. So that means that our limit going into this summer transfer window was £15 million loss over the 3 previous reporting years. And then we look at the numbers themselves. In the 2021-22 season, Manchester United lost 150 million. That's 10 times what the regulations and rules allow. But of course, it's not as simple as that. Under the profit and sustainability rules, due to the financial losses suffered across the 2019 and 20 and 2020-21 seasons, those 2 years are combined and then averaged out, and then they're written off. So let's take a look at that and see how that affects Manchester United. Because as I said, look, if you look at the accounts of Man United that have been released, the pre-tax loss over that 3-year period is 203 million. Significantly more than 10 times that 15 million limit. But then when you go down here and you say, right, how do we take that number down? What will that number actually be going into this summer? And as I told you, it was complicated, and it's why I've had to wait for so long to do this video. United estimate the pandemic cost them 190 million in those 2 seasons. Now, we've just explained there that what's going to happen is those 2 seasons are going to get combined and averaged out and then taken off. So you go down here, that averages out to 95 million. So what you do, you remove that from 203. That brings it down to, say, for example, 107 million. That would still mean that Manchester United are way over that £15 million limit. Further deductions can be made for investment in areas considered beneficial to the long-term benefit of the game. Academy spending, the women's team, and the Manchester United Foundation. And the club can deduct around about 50 to 60 million over the 3-year period in these 3 areas. So the Athletic have done their research into those numbers and that spending, and that means that we can drop that So if let's say we can take 60 mil off. So we've already taken off 95 from 203. That brings down to 107. Take 60 off. That leaves us at 47. And the fact that, you know, that academy spending and stuff like that can be taken off what FFP is, maybe that's why Manchester United have been doing this construction at the academy. That's Carrington there, and it was something that they announced back in 2021. There was an upgrade going in towards Carrington. Now that we know that that's offset against Manchester United's FFP losses, maybe that's why that money's going in there. It's like spending your taxes sort of thing. So down to 47 million, which is still nearly 3 times above that. But then, of course, Manchester United now, we're going to have record revenues, according to our latest projection. And these figures there, that because the profit and sustainability had to be submitted to the Premier League in March, it hasn't included that last quarter results. So that might bring it down a little bit. So it brings it all closer towards that 15 million pounds limit. And as I said, perhaps safely under it. But this is the thing here, and I would say this is probably the most important thing to understand from this video, right? Actually, no, there's another thing here. I wanted to show you what would happen if Manchester United were over that 15 million pound limit. The clubs must provide future financial information for the next 2 seasons before submitting their evidence of secure funding to cover the losses, which is an interesting one because we don't know who our owners are going to be. So I have no idea how United would do that. But this, for me, is the most interesting factor and probably the most dangerous. The next 3-year monitoring period will not include the COVID-19 adjustments, but they will include Man United's huge pre-tax loss. So I'll go back here. That one there. No, wrong one. 2021-22 season, the pre-tax loss was 150 million, which left Manchester United with losses over a 3-year period of 203, but that was reduced by 95 million because of COVID. That now won't apply to next summer. So while Manchester United might be able to sort of figure the books out, get it all sorted for this summer, it's the fact that next summer, that 95 million pound reduction won't be there. So it's about foresight, looking ahead. And that is why FFP will affect this summer massively. Maybe not massively, but it will affect. Of course, when it comes to FFP, there's there's 2 different versions of it. UEFA's FFP rules and, of course, the Premier League's FFP rules. Look, United, when it comes to FFP in Europe, clubs will only be required to submit their full audited accounts from 2022 to 23 because UEFA changed its rules this year, which means that massive loss doesn't actually apply to UEFA. And when it comes to the squad sustainability, that means you can only spend 90% of your revenue on your wages, XYZ, of those players. United are well inside those. So they won't actually be an issue. And this is the overall thing, right? So I've explained there, I've tried to explain in as much detail as possible. Why is that moving around? It's like some sort of ghost board. Anyway, I've tried to explain it in as much detail as possible, but it is complicated. And the reason why you can't give just a magic figure saying, this is what United can spend, it's player sales. And this, again, from The Athletic, it goes to show how much Chelsea have spent there. No, this is how much they've gained on player sales and what their overall spend, their net spend has been. You look at Manchester United over here. Only Arsenal have actually sold less than us, but we've spent nearly over £300 million more than them. This is the thing that changes everything this summer. Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, I've got all the names down there, all the names highlighted. If Scott McTominay is sold because he is an academy player and there isn't an amortised player cost, so for example, Harry Maguire, we paid 80 million for him. We didn't pay 80 million up front. We would have split that across, call it 5 years. And on the accounts every year, there'll be a fee for Harry Maguire that's split. So if Harry Maguire gets sold, you're kind of paying those off before you're adding just profit back into the account. With Scott McTominay, with Dean Henderson, with Anthony Elanga, with Hannibal Mejbri, Zidane Iqbal, Ethan Laird, all of those would go straight into pure profit. So technically, they would have probably more of a significant impact on FFP and how much United can spend. It's the player sales, which is the crucial thing this summer. And probably for the next couple of years, really. United need to buck the trend with this. This is the thing that's, it's not the thing that's caused our FFP issues, all right? We've had a £150 million loss. COVID didn't help either. There's other mitigating factors too. But this is United's being close to, as I said, it's our current losses are 203 mil, going into a period where it needs to be 15 mil. That gets reduced by 95 because of COVID and COVID write-offs. That gets reduced a bit because of how much money we can spend in the academy and the women's team. That also will get reduced because that final quarter of accounts haven't been put in. I did tell you it's complicated, people. It's not a simple science, but the simple science that I can tell you is this. If we sell well this summer, FFP won't really be an issue. FFP won't really be an issue next summer either. I mean, we're not going to have like 300-400 million to spend if we do sell, right? But it shouldn't impact our ability to make the signings that Ten Hag needs. Last summer, look, we went big and we went real big. We've already paid off the credit card, per se. We've got 160 mil to spend on that. But it's not really about that. It's about the overall FFP restrictions. How much can we spend? It is just as much to do with FFP as it is to do with how much money is in the bank. So last summer was what? 240, about 205, 210 million. So far, just Mason Mount. Ten Hag will want more than that. And I hope I've explained in as much detail as I can to sort of summarize it at the end. Man United and our finances as a football club, it's bad. Has been bad for a long time. So bad that our losses total over 200 million for the 3 reporting years going into this, the latest profit and sustainability report that United have had to send to the Premier League. So we would have found out as a football club 4 months ago and said, hold up, you're way over that. You've got to rein that in the financial sausage factory. But if we sell right, we're good. I can't give you an overall. I can't give you like a magic number of how much United's budget is because it will change according to how well we sell. But regardless of that, we should have enough this summer to sign Ten Hag, Mason Mount, Onana, and Højlund. Anything I would say post that, we need player sales, and then you could probably say that we need player sales before Højlund. I want to say thank you to Mark Critchley for writing the article for The Athletic. I'll leave the actual link to the I've only given, there's so much more detail in there. I haven't given you the full article, obviously. If you'd like to read it, follow the link in the description. But if that did help you, please drop a like on the video. It's helped me, and it's helped me understand. I suppose I didn't need that to understand just how bad United's finances have been for a long time. And we need new owners, man. We need new owners and a more sustainable way to run our football club.